Hello, and welcome to Season 4 of Super Pros Bros. I'm Player 2, Eli, and with me, as always, is...
Player 1, Ike. And Hanbrolo, did you know this podcast is on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spoofy?
I did not, brochacho. Are those the same places the people could?
Like,
Comment,
share.
and subscribe.
It sure is.
My goodness.
It was the way you leaned into like the semi amount of like
With disbelief.
Spanish patois of like, I did not, brochacho.
Completely. That was not on purpose, by the way. I did not think about that. Excellent. Good job, brain.
Woo! So it's been a couple weeks now?
I think it's been 2.
Yeah. So what has happened in your latter 2 weeks?
Not a ton. My work has been stupid. It's like rescinding our work from home day, which I think is big.
Ugh. Well, at least you're closer now, so
I was gonna say, like,
less L's in the chat.
I'm the least affected of all people I know, but it's still just stupid.
Yeah.
And annoying, and I think it's a complete mismanagement. And I wrote an appeal letter that I'm going to submit next week. But like, this is a terrible idea, and here's why. And just because I think you could use work from home time as both carrot and stick,
Sure.
and just allow managers to make the decision. Because if people for most people have to commute and it's a headache, the less days you can spend commuting, the better. And so if you can like earn multiple days, but then have them taken away, well, that's a pretty fucking strong incentive to be productive. Yeah. I don't know, like it doesn't.
I love it. I hope they have an epiphany moment, but I think this is sadly going to fall on deaf ears. But I'm glad you're fighting for it.
I think it's going to do absolutely nothing. I think the board is a bunch of fucking 50 to 60-year-old white assholes who don't give a shit, who are disconnected and don't care. But I'm really tired of just being complacent and just being like, well, and just bitching for the sake of bitching. And I'm like, I'm going to do what little is in my power to do.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm just tired of doing nothing. I'm really tired of hearing, well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Like, fuck you. There's something I can do.
Yeah, I would say this is probably like the closest opportunity you have of being able to do something.
Yeah. So that, and I will probably brush up my fucking resume and start casually applying for other places. Because like you said, it's really not the end of the world. It's not a huge deal. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
It's just annoying and stupid, and probably what I'll end up doing most Fridays on protest is I'll just be writing at work. Just be like, you can make me be here. That's all you're going to get out of me.
Also, I mean, you are a model employee who does really good work and has been there quite a while.
Yep. They bitches got nothing on me. Oh my Christ! So you were sitting in my lap so comfy, and now you're just like, now I gotta be annoying.
Dad, I want to be on the recording.
Lay down. Otherwise, I went and met up with somebody, and well, no, belay that. Ooh, it felt a little weird, and like it seemed okay. And then we left, and it was just very abrupt. And, like, put in calendar, like, when we'd meet next. But then that was it. And they just left. I was like, what? That's strange. And then we just, like, didn't talk. And I just kind of kept feeling like this dumb, like, I don't like this. Like, this feels weirdly impersonal. This feels weirdly, like, I don't know. And then, like, I reached out to them, and it was still just impartial as shit. And I was like, okay, I'm not about this. Like, it's just
like they're like, yeah, we can meet, but they weren't like interested in meeting.
It would, like the idea, but pretty much, it was. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. It was like, okay, we met. Here's the obligation for next meet. It's in my calendar. I'll see you then. Like, it felt like a business meeting and a business set up as opposed to like there's an interest in me, the person.
Yeah.
Which is just like, nope, don't like
They're just
it.
doing this so their parents won't be like, "You're not trying to meet anybody." They're like, "See, I put it in my calendar."
It just felt like I was an item on a checklist.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that doesn't sit for me. So, and then they didn't have like any kind of dissenting opinion. I was like, okay, no, definitely not. Get me off this fucking ride. So that was a little bit of a shame, but shrug, c'est la vie.
It's fucking rough.
Is what it is. I did get to start like Thursday or Wednesday this week with just like a rough rejection. It was like, hey, you sound like a super wholesome nerd, and those are my people, but you don't look like I want you to, so sorry. And it's like, well,
why the fuck would you say that to someone?
It's like, well, I appreciate your honesty, I guess. Thanks.
I feel like people are leaning, and I say this as someone who's a huge therapy head, but I feel like people are trying to, like, they experience therapy and they assume that's the way you should talk to people. And, like, there is some crossover, but there's a lot of stuff that this is why you pay somebody. And, like, honestly, to be that curtly honest, like, because that's something that I would say in a therapy session. Oh, this person's really good, except I don't find him sexy. So
no, I think that's I have a descending, like, it stings, but they weren't rude. They didn't belabor the point. They gave an honest rejection, and like, I'm okay with that. It sucks to wake up to. That was probably the harder part. Is I fucking saw it at 6 a.m. I'm like, ah.
But I mean, like, how that doesn't give you any. That is aggressively detailed information that is not necessary, because it's not going to change who you are. It's not a bad thing. So they could have just said, "Hey, really like their time. I'm just not feeling it." I never
met this person. I just sent them a message.
Okay. I think you're really cool, but there's just this, that, and the other thing. Or
I don't think they need the detail of why. I think they probably just say like, "Sorry, you're not for me." They probably don't need to be detailed. But like, I would rather that than just silence.
Oh, for sure. No, I prefer to be like, I would prefer, hey, not feeling it. Hey, not this, and just it can be pretty bland. It doesn't need to be super detailed. Yep. But like, definitely better than silence. But like, I don't know, telling somebody something, and this is something that I just like recently kind of learned more or less, of being informing something that is not a negative, that is especially when it is a core aspect or an unchangeable aspect of that person. It's just like, I hope that's helping you, because it really isn't helping the other person. And did they need to hear that? Like, I don't know.
It's at this point I'm just like,
sure,
sucks, but it is what it is. Like, you know, it's let's say otherwise, life has been kind of same old. I've spent the last handful of days this week fucking theory crafting for Path of Exile shit.
Can't confirm.
Okay, you can. It's bad. I need help, and I'm very help. I'm very upset because the event for PoE 1 is dropping on the fucking Thursday I leave next week.
Ugh. Why are we leaving next week?
I am going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
Nolans?
So I'm leaving Thursday. I'm there for like a couple days. I come back Sunday evening. So that should be a lot of fun. Oh my god, cat.
Oh, microphone.
Oh my god. She just like slid off my shoulder onto my lap and just like dragged her claws down my stomach. Like to fucking act like brakes. Cat, Uso, you were going afoot. Jesus. So that should be super fun. I am quite excited. And yeah, going with other Eli, and there's a bunch of my friends who are going to be there.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be dope.
I didn't know they were joining you. That's awesome.
Yeah, they wanted to go to New Orleans for a while. So this is a very decent excuse. So
sick.
Yeah, should be dope.
Neat.
Yeah. Otherwise, been reading, playing games, and watching a show that I'll talk about in a while.
Sick.
What about you? What's been going on?
Okay, so was testing for upcoming tournament. Went to tournament. It went mildly diaper butt.
Oh yeah, I came to bestow bad luck on you.
Yeah, some bitch.
And bring my drunk friend to the bar.
Yeah. No, it was very. I think there's things that I can take away from this. Hopefully, remember to do them if I feel so inclined. By and large, I think most of what occurred was just kind of like, sure. I don't feel like super bad about like the way I played. Sure. I do feel bad that I was uncomfortable enough with the deck that when I lost, it felt good to not have to play it anymore. So hopefully I can rectify that by March when I go to Charlotte. Is I don't want to feel relief in that I don't have to play anymore. That is a feeling I'm not liking because that makes me think that I need to be better prepared. So that's something to amend. I did choose on paper the right deck for the tournament. It was like the deck that had by far the highest win percentage. So yay, chose the right thing. Hopefully it's still positioned as such, or I can find the tool that is better positioned if that is the case in like 3 weeks. Then after losing said tournament, got to go to my favorite. So a lot of fun things. Got to go to my friend picked me up from the airport. Hadn't seen him in ages. Got to hang out with him. He is lovely. He took me and the other friend that was staying at his place to a food truck kind of encampment, for lack of a better word, and that was neat. I love those. It's one of my favorite aspects about Portland. This was a great trip that reminded me just like, I love Portland. Portland is a fucking awesome city. The only problem, and like I made note of it multiple times to friends and to people there, is like the only problem with Portland is interacting with the people when you need them to be responsible. If you're walking by them, people in Portland are rad because they are very sweet. But if you need somebody to take responsibility and do something, it's like hurting art students at a fucking a fucking art school. It's just like they don't understand what it is to pay rent on time or like clean their dishes. They're all just like, it's that's the only problem with the city of Portland, as I have experienced. Which, as far as problems go for a relatively major metropolis area, it's pretty fucking great.
There are definitely worse problems to have.
Yeah. So after I lost the tournament, my bro hamster here came down, and we hung out, and that was awesome. Had great giggles and laughs. Introduced him to 2 of my best friends. Went out and got pizza, my favorite pizza parlor.
Sorry, bird flew by my window. Cat came off my lap really fast.
My people need me. Yeah, the pizza was not quite as great as I remember, but I got an awesome shirt and the vibes were immaculate. So who cares?
No, you're a train wreck.
Yeah, and then we got to have fucking, was it Sean?
Sean.
Yeah, come down quite fucking pissed drunk.
He was a bit soused.
He was sauced and then some, and got to just behold his absurdity.
He is a lot of a person sober.
Yeah.
He is a lot more when he's drunk. It's funny. He's very good natured. He has a good laugh, and he's willing to laugh at himself, which is important.
Fantastic spectacle, to be sure.
But goddamn, there's a lot.
Yeah. But that was lovely. The following day, got to have a fine breakfast. Then got to go to the very highly regarded Powell's Books with Eli and my brother, or my brother Eli and my good friend Dan Silver. Get some fun books and some stickers that are now in my car.
And some socks.
And a set of socks, yeah, for a homie. And a glass that I got that was really rad. I'm very curious. I need to see how many ounces it is, because like, so for y'all out there that weren't there, it's a beautiful glass that has like Portland and all its little cutesy niche things on it, like a little kind of city map of sorts. On I think it's tempered glass. However, I'm pretty sure it's like 10 ounces or something like that. It's a very odd amount.
It's
I don't
a little
think
strange.
Yeah, it's not a pint glass for sure. Yeah, I'm very curious to like measure out and see how many ounces it is. Stay tuned till next week to find that out. And then we went to a manga store. I got some cute pens and a little pen bag. And then I took Eli to the institution that I forgot how it was. I don't think I'll ever need to go back. But went to Burgerville, which is a great fast food place that's only in Oregon and predominantly the Portland area. And it is fine. It's probably the way I would say it.
Yeah.
Not bad, but it's like, oh, I had a reminder of how
hooray, we're adequate.
Yeah, it's so adequate, and I think the price is what did it for me when I was younger, and now I'm not that, so I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, like it was. I think you're right. It's fine.
It's good to have reminded myself and done once.
Good lord, that fucking milkshake you got though. That shit was a paste.
Yeah, it really was. Like,
Jesus.
I got a hazelnut milkshake, and it was just fucking paste with a little bit of cream intertwined.
It was thick with about 19 C's.
19 cc's of thick. But yeah, and then since coming back, I've gone on some dates. One of which, I don't hate going on the second date with them.
That is a
well.
ringing
So here's the thing:
man.
They were not exactly my cup of tea.
Sure.
In a couple different departments, they were very enamored with me. That's great.
Cool.
But they were like super nervous, and that's like part of the reason I went on the second date. And they were into some similar kink things, and I was like, maybe this. And they knew about magic, so there'd be like a little bit more commonality speak.
So there's a surprising amount of overlap there.
There's some overlap. Yeah, true. And then I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't changing. And some other things came to light. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But I think I'm like turning over a new leaf because I don't see it as like a mistake, but rather an experience that was, just like knowingly be like, yeah, like most experiences in life, you just like, you win some, you lose some, and it wasn't a punt by any means. So glad I did that. The result was what it was probably likely to be. So that's kind of like I kind of wish I didn't do it because I was right to be like hesitant. That's where like my kind of the tumultuous gut vibes are coming from, I suppose. And went on another date that I'm going on a follow-up date this evening. So that one's interesting in 7 different directions. I think it's gonna be fun. It's kind of nice because we had like a good discussion before going on date 2 of like where I am mentally, and made sure she was on like the same page or okay with me being on that page, which is kind of like a breath of fresh air of being like, look, I don't know about X, Y, and Z. This is how I'm like, just so you know, this is how I'm feeling moving forward. Is that okay? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I don't, it's a little bit of a rarefied air scenario, not something I'm going to discuss here or anything, but just like making sure be consenting adults. So I like that has gotten out of the way. The only thing I'm glad to be doing it for this person, because everybody should have somebody that does this for them, I feel like, is they have body image issues and self-confidence issues, self-respect issues, arguably. And so I'm constantly being like, no, you're great. And they're like, well, if you say so. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. I mean, that is how this works, but also with you saying it that way, I think you're undermining what I'm doing here. So you need to be like, you need to allow me to compliment you and realize that is like, that doesn't make it objectively true because it never is. So the people that made you feel the opposite of this, just like their opinion also doesn't exist in the same way mine doesn't. And just kind of like trying to help her like see past that. And so it's interesting, but really sweet person, having great fun conversations. Hopefully going to have a great fun evening. But other than, wanting to rewrite my recent dating history, something else we want to rewrite, I get extra points for that. That was fucking great.
I'll give it to you.
Goddamn right. So earlier this week in our weekly Wednesday meeting, we were talking about films that we think we could fix. Like a bad boyfriend, we can fix him. And so, without further ado,
I'm not touching that comment with a fucking stick.
Without further ado, we are each going to laud 6 films that we could fix. And say what's wrong with them.
Six stories.
6 stories, yeah. I guess some of yours aren't films. Yeah, I think mine are either films or TV shows. And not all of them are horrible. Plenty of them are. But they are all things that we believe we could fix, and we're going to go into detail of how we could fix them. So without further ado, if I may, Escaflowne. Just fucking cut the film early and we're out of here. All right, next film. It really is that simple. I know some of you, especially my co-hosts, have heard me lose my shit about it. I'm going to try not to, although it is fun as hell. Literally, that show is perfect if you cut 10 minutes off the back end. You could do a Sopranos cut to black, as my co-host recommended. It doesn't need to be shit. They can just kiss on the bridge, and you can end it, like, roll credits, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been the best ending, but it would have been way better what we got instead. It would have been
very serviceable.
Yeah. That's like, it's literally, you can just fix it. You can fix it with a freeze frame and a credit roll. But no! She's got to go back to high school. Because fuck me, that's why.
She's got to go back and be denied be the
third wheel at a fucking
go back to
dance.
High school in the cuck chair.
Just reserved for you, Hitomi, you stupid bitch. All right. Before I take up the whole episode with ranting, please, something else.
Part of me that just wants to let you go because I know you will, but I'm not going to. All right.
Yeah. For the audience at home.
So I love Borderlands. I love the series. I think it's great. It's given me a lot of enjoyment. Borderlands 3 writing is trash. It's hot ass. And it's got a couple points, like, and some of it is dumb. Some of it's just really fucking lazy. So one of the key kickoff points for the series, or for the game, is that Lilith gets stripped of her powers because there's, like, basically an anti-siren. Okay. Lilith can fucking teleport. Lilith can turn invisible. Lilith can forcibly teleport other people. Like, she is one of the most powerful people canonically. She just doesn't do any of that. Like, she just doesn't
We're doing it on hard mode.
All you have to do is make some fucking excuse for why she can't. Like, you can just, like, put a fucking weird electric dome around her. Put a little fence around it. I don't know. Like,
stop making over it!
Yeah. Like, there's just something. Anything for why she doesn't just go deuces and just fucking leave. Like, there's just no reason to take this fight against the person who is the anti-you. Like, stupid. Okay, so don't do that. Just have a reason. You can make one up. It's not hard. And, like, if you just, like, they make basically like an EMP so she can't leave, or they put a little force field wall or something. Whatever. It's 2 lines of dialogue in a fucking shimmer effect in a cutscene. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then afterward, she loses her powers, and she just becomes this fucking bitch. Just this mopey, whiny bitch. Oh, dear God, she is insufferable. Why is she suddenly a coward? She has run the Crimson Raiders. Like, this is what she would have done in Borderlands 2. When she's all about being strong, when she's all about just flexing that she is fucking Jesus incarnate. But then she saw Roland fucking die and grew up. But then she's just this chicken shit bitch. She's no longer a leader because she doesn't have power. Stupid! stupid. And to exacerbate it, there's that fucking obnoxious child when Maya dies that Lilith just lets walk all over her. No, have Lilith give her some fucking stones, have her smack this child and be like, shut the fuck up. Easy. Bring the dumb bitch in line. Okay. The end also just has problems and could have been so cool. The villains are the Calypso twins. And the whole time it's the sister running the show and the brother is like this parasite. And there is a moment at the end where you fight the brother where he's like draining power off the sister to charge a key.
Mm-hmm.
He should just kill her. He could just cannibalize her and just be like, I'm tired of living in your shadow. Womp. And you just have a new big bad. Because they even tease that there's friction between them. That he doesn't like being the fucking second string, the parasite, the nobody. He doesn't like it. They had this golden opportunity for him to just be the bad guy. And they don't take it. And that is a travesty, in my opinion. Because
especially because, like, this is happening in a fight, right? If he's the big bad, if he kills his sister, like, you have, like, that moment of you could beat the sister, she gets weak, he eats her, and then you have, like,
so he is like, she's basically being drained, and he, like, turns to fight you guys. It's like he's kind of doing everything and using her power like a conduit.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, they could even rewrite that fight scene where it's you fight her, you beat her, or she gets weak, and then he eats her, and then he gets, like, supercharged, and he's like, it's, you know, like, when you're fighting Hades, you beat up on dear old dad, he gets low, and then he goes fucking apeshit.
Yeah.
Like, you could do that with a fight like this, and it is, like, classic video game trope, and it's awesome for a reason.
It works. It plays. Yeah. They also have this whole fucking, like, side story towards the end about the original Vault Explorer who happens to be their dad. It's stupid. You don't need it. It makes no sense. It feels so shoehorned in, and like it's kind of a weird narrator to this last planet you go to. And it's like you could just have Tannis talk over it because this would be her shit because she loves all this kind of crap. Cool. And then at the end, when the fucking moon is falling at Pandora, and so Lilith gets her powers back and just flies at the moon to stop it. Huh? Huh? No. Way easier and way better. You have her just like eat a big brick of iridium, teleport to the surface of the moon. Get off my desk, Usam. Teleport to the surface of the moon, like eat another hunk, like eat way too much iridium. So she just starts like glowing purple, and then just have her like teleport the moon back into an orbit. That would make more sense. That would be way cooler. It could be such a cool spectacle. And you could just have like Lilith just fucking just boom and move the moon. That would be awesome. No, instead we get this really dumb scene of her just flying at the moon and the Firehawk logo appears in the sky. What? It doesn't make sense. Like there's just why did we write it this way? God damn. Like, you literally have the drug that makes sirens go fucking bananas. Let them use it. Like, make use of it again. It's not like iridium suddenly... It's in the game. We didn't run out of it. Jesus.
I was worried they did.
Like, do better. The game itself plays well. Its gunplay is good. It's the Borderlands play you want it to. But fuck me, its story writing. Just... God, it's so dumb. What's next?
So, the movie Sucker Punch is classic Zach Snyder schlock, and by and large, I'm here for it.
80% slow motion.
Yeah. Does a lot of cool, like, CGI, slow-mo fight scenes. It's dope to look at. Except the story is not so much. The issue I have with the story, because the story is boilerplate and no one really cares about it. We're here for a fun ride. Cool. In the story, we're going to a mental hospital. Okay. And then to deal with it, she goes, like, the main character views it as this like weird kind of like nightclub what's it called? Back in the 20s,
speakeasy.
Yeah, like a kind of like speakeasy mob run joint. Okay, fine. But then anytime there's something that they need to accomplish, they go another level deeper and they have to do these like missions in like World War II Lord of the Rings shit. It's dope looking, but also just like kind of doesn't, it's like all style, no substance.
Sure.
They don't need to do 2 levels deep. And it gets really confusing at which level they are at times. And it's just like, it kind of will like snap back to level 2, which is just weird. So that one for me is a big non-starter. And then the problem is the end. Spoiler, because it's not even worth like reading it or watching it for the story. Just watch the 3 fight scenes on YouTube. Sure. They're worth it. The rest of the show, not so much.
Sure.
But if I rewrote it, it would be. If in the end you have this main character, she's been the main character this whole entire time. She reveals in the end that the story is really about someone else and that they should escape the fucking asylum, which doesn't make any fucking sense and hasn't been alluded to. It's just thrown in as a like misdirect.
Okay.
And then she leaves and this other person, like the main character, gets a lobotomy and basically dies. Which again, and you're going to see it on here a couple times, unless you are doing a whodunit, you do not need to confuse your audience. If you write a good story, there's only like theoretically 23 stories that have ever been written. You don't need to try to make number 24.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious when you try to do that. There are some where it is the impetus from the beginning, neat. And there's a lot like this one and at least one more to come from on my end where it isn't. And it shows when you have the standard operating procedure of like set up, payoff for the audience. And then you go set up, just kidding, not payoff, annoying confusion. Here's this dumb ending that we didn't make the way for. And so it feels inauthentic. And it is. Yeah. And this one definitely is that, with just her dying, also going back to level 1 and like doing all this stuff. It's like, you don't need to. This is such a visual parade and an awesome one. Focus in on that. Sure. And don't confuse your audience and have it just be weird for the sake of being weird.
Sure.
It's just so, it makes it, 3 levels makes it so much harder to follow.
Yep.
And just when you start pulling out and out, you forget of like, you get the like,
where the fuck you are.
Yeah, it's just this whiplash as an audience member of like, wait, okay, we're here. You don't want that. And that, I mean, random aside, that was one of the odd things that they really should have done to solve one of the issues with the original Witcher, is have your audience know where you are. Have a time date in the bottom corner when you start a scene. Fixes that whole entire show. We're not going to talk about that one here today, but that is like literally the only fix for a pretty great season 1 of The Witcher, is just have it so your audience knows what time zone they're in.
Yeah. I can see that.
All right. Anyway, watch the 3 fight scenes. Enjoy the Snyder schlock and have fun with Sucker Punch on YouTube. But do not watch that movie.
So there was I think it's a Chilean horror movie that I watched with other Eli a while ago called Where Evil Lurks. And it's honestly pretty dope for the most part. It's got this really cool kind of like world building setup to it. Hello, Ganuso.
That's Argentina for...
Oh, it's Argentina? Okay. So Argentinian horror movie, mea culpa. And it's got this really cool idea of like, basically demons are real and they will manifest, and there's like social protocols how to deal with them. And so it's a really cool idea. And there's ways you have to get rid of them. There's rules you can't, like, don't shoot them. That just makes it spread. Like violent death makes it's like a plague almost, makes it spread faster. And so it's really interesting. And so the front 2 acts of the movie are pretty great. It's a lot of like good tension building and stakes rise, and you just get like people getting worked over as more people get kind of like possessed and go crazy. Like, there's one thing that I'm like, how does this go by with no questioning? And it's at one point, the main character is like, he goes to his ex-wife because he's like, you need to leave town. We're taking the kids. We're leaving town. And she's like, what the fuck? You can't be here. We have a restraining order.
Apologies.
Someone's backing up.
Or
the fire alarm's going off.
Somebody's burning their breakfast, I believe.
Oh.
Couldn't be me.
Sounds like someone's trying to smother it.
They are now, yeah.
Shut up!
Yep.
So while he's having this argument with his ex-wife, it keeps panning to the dog. And the dog is like looking across the room. And like the daughter comes over to pet it. And the dog goes berserk, grabs her, and runs her out the house. And so they find her, but she's not like mangled. And like somebody should ask, like, why don't you have bite marks? Whatever.
Yeah.
That one's just like, it's this weird, like, how does no one catch this? Why is no one like, you got dragged outside by a fucking rabid, like bloodhound? Like, how are you not bloody? Like, what's happening here? Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. The problem I have with this movie comes in the third act, where they find this, like, there's this old woman, it's the main character, his brother, their mother, and they take his, like, disabled son.
Mm-hmm.
His son cannot talk, has, like, trouble moving. They get them out of town. They find this woman who knows how to deal with demons. She knows how to exercise it, essentially.
She knows that she's got a demon exercise tape.
Exactly. So they get like the gear to make it happen. They go to where they tried to dump the demon and it didn't work because they didn't get far enough out of town. They go to where it should be. And the woman knows. She goes, okay, it's going to be at this school because evil is drawn to children. And there's a bunch of kids there who try to misdirect. And she goes, no, don't listen to them. He's here.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it. Sure enough, he's there. So she has been right twice now. And so he's like in a stage with like the teachers of the school are dead. And so they're literally hiding him under the body so you can't smell him because he's like this gross pustule of a person. It's disgusting.
That's awesome and disturbing.
It really is. And so she's like, you need to get him out from under there because I need to be able to stab the nape of his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Very Attack on Titan-y. So he's like trying to dismantle the stage. And so one of the kids who cannot be trusted, as established 5 minutes ago, is like, there's an axe in the headmaster's office. And she's like, if you leave, they will kill me. Don't leave. I need you to stay. Because she's like 65. She's old.
Yeah.
Like, she can't fight a bunch of 13-year-olds. She will go down. But they can't hurt like a healthy 40-year-old, like 35, 40-year-old dude.
Sure.
She's just like, don't go. Fucking moron goes.
Children are our future.
Like he leaves. She's right. She's the only smart person. And he just fucks off. What happens? Well, she dies. So, in lieu of his idiocy, he compounds on it too. Because then, like, the pustule of a person who all he wants is for someone to kill him the wrong way. He comes up and starts goading him. And this dipshit walks up, takes an axe, and cuts his head open. Well, cool, he just let evil out into the world. That's how it ends. What?
Stupidity reigns supreme forever!
Yeah, it's like, no, like, you can have a confrontation there. Fine. But like, he just shouldn't leave. He should just stay with her, help set it up. Like, maybe the kids try and like bum rush him. He fights the children off. Like, they grab her and drag her away, and he has to finish it. Sure, that would work. Or like, she is injured, so she can't finish it, and so she walks him through it.
Yeah.
While the demon's trying to like convince him to pick up the axe or hit him with a brick or whatever. Like, it's just better ways to do this sequence. The other one that's like really stupid is his kid is infected.
Mm-hmm.
And so the demon can't, like, the infection can't do much because his kid is disabled. And so it's like trying to like make his body comply. And so more and more, the kid ends up like getting, like, the demon can control the kid's body. He becomes like, he can start talking.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end, he like is up and walking around and scares the shit out of his grandmother because, well, he shouldn't be able to do that. And he literally ends up eating his grandmother. And like the movie ends with him spitting up the necklace that she was wearing.
Oh, God.
It's kind of appalling. But it's like, so the main character's brother leaves in the middle of the night. I don't even remember where he goes. It's so unimportant. And so it's like, why are we not doing a simultaneous like plot of him trying to keep like his nephew suppressed so he doesn't like kill their mother?
Yeah.
Like, that would make so much more sense. You would have these two escalating conflicts on two different fronts that you can cut between to keep suspension going. And then have a much more satisfying payoff. The fucking main character forgetting how to operate and just losing all critical thought for no fucking reason. Hey! Like, it was so good. It had such cool ideas, and they're just fucking punts.
All right. Well, I'll let you settle down.
Sorry. I'm gonna fire it up here.
Writer fired up at bad writing. News at 11.
Hey, don't patronize me.
So, I love the first 6 episodes of Squid Game like I never thought I could love a TV show.
Okay.
And then episode 7, the bridge episode, comes along. Actually, I think the brother of the bridge episode, I don't remember what 7 is. But it really was just such a aggressive fall from grace. So many unintentional or unnecessary errors. It's just rough. So the fixes are as follows. The bridge scene needs to be changed, or it needs to be a thing that moves forward. And I think it should be changed, because up until that point, they have done a very good job of establishing that, hey, rules are rules. Once we enforce them, we enforce them. And they enforce them aggressively on all sides, which is kind of awesome. And it really sets the stage and really kind of is good world building. And then you just stop doing that of, hey, we're not going to interfere in the games. Oh, just kidding. We're going to make it so you can't do the thing. Like, some guy has the skill to be able to like see the glass in a way that know which ones like you can be on, which if you want that to not happen, don't have a character be able to do that. It doesn't serve a purpose other than to make them cheat against their own game and break their own rules.
Yeah, and like rules that they didn't enforce prior, because like they, if anything, they rewarded creativity. Like the whole the like sugar sculpture thing where you have to like carve it out. Like they don't punish him for like licking the back of it and like doing something besides just using the needle. Like, it goes against what they previously established.
Yeah, and it's wildly unnecessary. It makes it very unfun. Then they have to blow up the bridge, which gets Sabyok hurt, and then she just basically dies in the middle of the night. Also, fuck you. You cannot do it's
they just fridge her. Yeah.
They fridge her, and she's one of the coolest characters that you're pulling for the most, given her backstory.
Yeah.
And then you fridge her? Like, she can die in so many ways that are, like, kill her, fine. But kill her in a way that honors the character that you built, who is amazing.
You could even kill her the same way. Just have her fight at the night.
Have her fight. Have them get angry at each other, and she gets in between them. Have something. Have her try to kill one of them, and then in the middle of the night, and them get in a fight. Or get in a fight with a security guard. Something. To have her die off screen effectively, and to something so mopey as I was helping her, like fucking she was in pain. It's just so dumb.
Like it would have at least felt less egregious if he just said like one less in the way.
Yeah, something. It was just fucking.
It's so discordant. It doesn't know what it wants to be doing. Yeah.
And then I really think the ending is just needlessly long. It felt so Return of the King of just all right. It was just this to-do list that was done in this hodgepodge order. It's like you can make this so clean. You can have some of this happen off screen. You can have him signing forms. Something. It just meanders and takes so long. And we don't need any of that because it really was so good. Up until that, I don't know if I've ever seen or will ever see television that great again. It really is so goddamn impressive. And then they just, each episode from 7 on, it's just like, oh cool, oh cool, oh cool.
Yeah, the back third was just like so much worse than the front 2/3.
Front 2/3 are so perfect. I can't even.
They were so good. I do have one note. The random like scene where they turn out the lights and like let them kill each other is again one of those things like doesn't make sense for them to do. But
yeah,
that's like my only like kind of like what the fuck.
They could have done something about that if they wanted to in like the writing thing of like we had too many survive this challenge. We need to like let them wean themselves down. So there's an easy explanation for that one, but that one is it could be used to fix. But that is the only potential issue.
Yeah, even then, like the scene itself is still really cool.
Yeah,
like it just is at least it's a very engaging scene, and it doesn't just think you're like what the fuck like the bridge does.
It is a lot of logical, yeah, and also the bridge with the with the fucking.
It's not investors. What are they called?
No, it's the chick that like feels like she got maligned earlier, then like doing the suplex with the gangster to kill them both. It's like, what the fuck?
Can we not just push him?
Push him? It's just why are we suicidal about this douchebag?
Also, like, why don't we try to walk on the railings? Like, just
yes. Oh yeah, God. Like they really should have had. They should have troubleshot a lot of that episode.
There's just so many things where it's like, why don't we do X, Y, or Z? Like, why is this happening? Why are we just randomly maiming our content? Yeah, it's nonsense.
It's just so poorly thought out. Compared to our next entry.
So, the game Last Epoch is another ARPG that I have played around a bit with. I enjoy, and it has some problems with its writing. It has some problems with the story because first and foremost, Epoch in the name, it fucks with time. Okay, so I'm not going to throw under the bus because it fucks with time, because it has an interesting idea with it, and it is basically that there is this malignant entity known as Orbis who wants to bring about the end. In this thing called ruin, which is basically like depression and rage made manifest. It's like this. It's basically negative emotions made into physical constructs. And it's a big mess. Okay, so at the start of the game, you are literally zapped into the future when ruin has taken over, but like you aren't told why. It's just like a dude basically kicks you there, and so you go from being in like the past to being way into the future. It's so jarring. It's like you just have something, some kind of cryptic message, but like maybe you can make the difference. Boom, and then just have him kick you forward. Like any little breadcrumb would just anything. Anyway, the other thing the game suffers from is it doesn't really introduce the idea of Orbis early. Like we literally fucking God's pocket watch in our pockets. Like, and we can endlessly jump around. The only threat is Orbis because he is he can match us. Time travel is the same to him. He can just be everywhere. Like, he's not omnipresent, but he can follow us. Like, he proves it at the end of the campaign. He literally adjusts the date of the ruin earlier to match us, which is a really cool way to end the campaign. That's a really cool way to like move into their endgame systems and shit. But like, that's the first time you ever hear him talk. That's the first time you ever really get introduced to the idea, other than like these little like scraps of paper you can read that talk about him. Like, he needs to be introduced faster. And there's this really stupid sequence that I fucking despise. So the original ruin is brought about by this douchebag emperor who tries to make himself a god, and his empire turns to despair, and it fucking crumbles and explodes. Cool. So you're gonna go kill him. Because of course we are. We're gonna solve everything with violence.
Now what did we learn today, children?
So you go through this whole fucking rigmarole to get close to him. Which, problem A, why do I not go back to when he's a child and just curb stomp the baby? So we're gonna leave that aside. But then we
leave that immoral act alone.
Yeah, listen, man. Ends justify the means. So if we're gonna, okay, we don't want to fuck with history too hard, I guess. So we go through this whole rigmarole to get close to him because he's super guarded, and the person who's like, he's vulnerable, he's here. Do you have this spear with you? Turns out we were supposed to go back to the past, like fucking 5,000 years ago, and get this spear from a literal god to kill this guy with. It's like, what? How did we get here without you just telling me, asking me at any point before? Because this isn't like the first time we talked to this fucking dumb bitch. Like, how did we? This is retarded. Like, this is so stupid. This sequence is so stupid. The fact that we could get this far, and you now go, hey, do you have the fucking Spear of Hyrod on you? In my pockets. Yes, right here. As a matter of fact. Holy shit. Like, it's just so goofy. Like, I just don't think the Emperor bit needs to happen like that. Like, I think if you just introduce the idea of Orbis, like, maybe when you go to hunt the Emperor, he starts fucking with it. And so you try to go earlier, and Orbis just keeps following you and keeps influencing the world around you. Like, that, its campaign just kind of needs a rework so that there is a legitimate threat other than a nebulous thing you try to affect. Like, because if you're going to have time travel, you need a villain who can match you, which they have. He just needs to exist sooner. Like, otherwise, there's literally no reason you can't just undo anything. And that's silly.
Time travel, you vexin' bitch.
Yeah.
So, a movie title that sounds like it should have time travel but doesn't. Prometheus is the like kind of super prequel to Alien. And it has a lot of cool ideas to it, a lot of great, I mean, it's a beautiful movie to look at, and a very interesting thing. Huh?
It's like great set pieces, yeah.
Yeah. Only issue is that all of the people on this boat are the best at what they do. They've been hired, they've been given a lot of money by this rich Nepo baby in a cryogenic chamber.
Oh, Wayland Yutani.
And they're also as smart as a high schooler who's getting a B on his average chemistry final. It's just so... Like, two of them end up, like, kind of out and about. They're like, hey, let's fuck around with wildlife on this planet we've never been to that we don't know the rules of how it works. There's just so many interaction points where the characters are needlessly stupid. Not only, I mean, at the crux of it is Charlize Theron running straight as something that is, like, a car length wide rolling at her and just continuing to run in a straight line as opposed to, I don't know, go right. Just have them be mildly intelligent. They're just like, you've come this far, you're at the peak of your career for all of you, and they're all just acting emotionally. This is about science, scientists, evolution. They especially in the beginning, they talk in this really cool thing when they see the planet. One of the guys go, oh, somebody's been here. And they go, how do you know? Because God doesn't draw in straight lines. Which is a fucking awesome thing to say.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, yeah. One of the ways to tell that something has been there before is like a straight line or like rectangular creations or something like that. It's like that's not something that we ever see in nature or in other planets. You see circles, but like straight, like 90-degree angles, not really.
No.
And it's such a cool thing to say. And then immediately we're like, frat party, fucking around, people are getting dosed. It's just so stupid. People are dumb, I grant you, but we're working in the field of science. We've got people with.
Say we shouldn't all be idiots on this boat.
Just like because the idea of the story can be done. Like you can have the fucking I don't remember the name.
You can have exploration and curiosity go wrong. It
Yeah,
just doesn't have to be stupid.
The cyborg does meddle with them.
Sure,
but you can have them do that if they're not morons and like
you can
getting
have him
shit
just
faced
like
and being dumb. Too.
Introduce failures to their containments.
Yeah,
like there's ways he can just be a bigger antagonist to experiment.
Yeah, but nope, they all have to be basically idiots, and then we have to fly a plane at a plane to knock it out of the sky. There's no way we came this far with anything approaching armament on a vessel of this size. Seems...
Oh, it's a scientific mission, Isaac.
Yeah. Couldn't plan for this contingency of other plane we need protect self. Nope. Fly full throttle at this other fucking ship to stop it from leaving the Atmo. Sure. That'll be neat looking. What else is neat looking and stupid?
Batman v Superman is stupid. And Henry Cavill deserved better.
Yes.
Alright. And I think a lot of this movie's stupidity can be fixed with one character being way better written, and that's Lex Luthor, oddly enough. It's not really... It's not the problem of Batman necessarily or Superman, outside of one really painful point. We'll get there. But Lex Luthor should be the person pushing them together because he wants to go full Godzilla and let them fight. Like he is hoping to kill two problems with one stone. So you can set him up like he knows. You can just have him know who Batman is. You can show him figuring it out. He's Lex fucking Luthor. He is super intelligent. He's got endless resources. He can fucking figure it out. You can then show him the kryptonite stockpile that he's got. Just tease it to him. You can then introduce the idea that Superman killed some people. You can have some, I don't know, find a way to turn people into a paste, fake some evidence, pay somebody to speculate on it being Superman to fuel Batman's paranoia. You can then do the same kind of thing in and have people look like they're killed with batarangs and shit in New York or in I guess New York, to get Superman suspicious and questioning. Play them towards each other. Again, limitless resources, super intelligent, no problem.
The world, your oyster.
Yeah, and then just have Lex have a conversation with Bruce and voice concern about Superman, prompting him to steal the kryptonite, prompting the confrontation. Okay, cool. We set it up for them to fight because Batman thinks it's probably in the best interest because if Superman goes off leash, he kills everyone who stops him. Fair point.
Turns out if Jesus gets angry, we all die.
Yeah. Okay. So then have him proceed to beat the shit out of him because he is a radioactive rock. Excellent. Don't have the fight stop because of the word Martha. That is the single dumbest scene in a movie. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And if anything, it shouldn't be fucking Lois Lane interrupting it. Have it be Wonder Woman. You're gonna use her. You don't have to have ambush us at the end. You can just have her show up and be kind of spectating.
Hey,
and
children, stop being dumb.
Yeah, but like this wasn't Kal-El. Hit him with the lasso of truth so he can't lie, and then hit fucking Batman with it, and have Batman disclose that Lex has been nudging it. They go, we have a common enemy. And then Lex Luthor, his backup plan is to have Doomsday on standby because he found the kryptonite shit, which also I think is really stupid. That's not how Doomsday came about, but whatever. Fuck you. I'll roll with it. And like have that be the contingency plan that he's prepared for because he's fucking Lex Luthor. Like he should like
smart. Let him be real smart.
Yes, let him be really smart. Let him make the fucking superheroes dance like idiots. And let the one thing that he doesn't know about, Wonder Woman, be the fucking wrench in the cogs. Like that would make so much more sense. That would make so much more sense. But no, Martha.
Martha.
Yeah, like honestly, I think the best thing you could do is have him like unleash Doomsday, like press a button and just let it out into town and just be like, go be the heroes and just have him leave. I think that's a way better sign off for Lex. Just be like, you guys have to stop it. You can't stop me. And just have him leave.
Have him do the classic, like, well, you know, like the kind of, you've got to pick one. Do you save the people or do you get, you catch the bad guy? Well, gotta save the people first.
Exactly. See ya. Yeah, just like deuces and just have him fucking bounce. Like, have him be a good evil mastermind. That movie works so much better. It's still problematic, but it's way better. Anyways, what's next?
Next up, we've got the good old Game of Thrones. So GOT. I stand by. I love the casting of the show. I love the first 5 seasons of the show. I think they did an amazing job. It is in season 6 that I believe, and like, so one of the things we kept ourselves to here is that it needs to be, it can't be a whole entire rehash. There has to be like one issue that we can be fixing. If you guys have been noticing, it's been a major issue or a couple small issues. This one is a little bit bigger than that, but not by much. In season 6, we see one of the things, which I believe there are effectively 3 that go downhill. One of them is that they wanted to create a twist ending because literally someone guessed it because
you had good narrative leading. It.
Yeah. Also, this is literally based on the War of the Roses loosely. So if they were a history major, they could figure this shit out. A lot of these characters come from the War of the Roses. Believe that George taught history at college. Like he is a professor at a university, or was up until this popped the fuck off. Like that is a thing. A lot of professors are writing books on the side. Some of them are novels, it turns out. So George is a big fan of history. A lot of these characters come from the War of the Roses between England and France. And that's where a lot of inspiration came from. And somebody did math and read a book and figured it out. It wasn't super hard. And the fucking Nepo morons that ran this show decided, we can't have that! And rewrote the ending so it didn't make any sense. But it caught you off guard because it didn't make any sense.
Because it was fucking gibberish.
Yeah, step 1, don't fucking do that. let your fans have guessed it. They're still going to find catharsis when they are right. They are not going to be like, oh man, it's exactly what I thought it was. I wish it was different. They're like, sick, I got it right. That's fine. That's great. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you execute, especially with something like Game of Thrones, again, not a whodunit. And even then, whodunits, they can guess it, and if like it's told well, it doesn't matter. Like, so that's one.
Yeah, it's not like knowing deters or, kills the payoff.
Yeah. If done well, being right feels great. You're like, sick, fucking nailed it.
Yeah, like it's so satisfying to like, fuck you.
Yeah. So to take that away to confuse your audience, just so missing the point of what story is. That's 1. 2, up until season 6, we had a through line that was constant It very seldomly wasn't the same, which was logic over love, earnest over emotion. It was all about being smart. It wasn't about doing the right thing. The right thing did not matter. It was what kept you alive.
Yeah.
You see this with Sean Bean dying. He does the right thing, loses his head. You see this with his son, Rob, marrying for love instead of power, still trying to rectify that. Nope! I'm angry you decided to go back on your word. Dead. I will, fucking betray you. This constantly happens. And you see this even, and this is, I love the way season 5 ends, Jon Snow is doing the right thing, in quotes. And they fucking prison shank his ass to death. Awesome. Then this isn't like a bad thing because it is from the books, although this is where it starts to go away from that, is you have Jon Snow come back to life because magic, which is there's some of it in this universe, but that's a little weird.
So they have shown there's the guy who comes back a few times.
Derek Dondarrion, yeah. He has come back a couple times, but he comes back because he's got a priest who adamantly believes and is able to do magic. Jon just comes back to life.
There you go.
So there's, and that's not even that big of a quibble. Again, magic's in the universe, fine.
We do have magic and dragons.
We have magic and dragons. I'm willing to let that one go. It starts to kind of play with the edge, but that's fine. The problem for me is in a lot of decisions in season 6, culminating in the Battle of the Bastards, we have characters like, oh no, this is the right thing, with Arya not killing the person she was sent to kill, with Jon not listening to his sister and running at Ramsay Bolton like a fucking moron and never getting punished. And it starts to go from this awesome, dark, kind of like what was that show with Frank, House of Cards, kind of Machiavellian thing, to just being high fantasy. And there's nothing wrong with high fantasy, but it goes against the ethos of the show that had Bryn set up.
Yeah.
And lastly, the thing that I think, again, this is also the ending problem, but kind of goes to show for it, if you still wanted this kind of ending, Daenerys's psychotic snap needs to build. It can't just happen in an afternoon.
Yeah.
It's so unbelievable. And there's so many ways you can have it build and have it make sense. But no. Can't have that. Gotta throw them off our trail. So, D and douchebag, dipshit and dumbass. If somehow you're listening to this, fucking, I'm more than happy to come on your next project and keep you guys from fucking that shit to the ground. Holla at your boy.
Just a good sanity check in the room.
Yeah. All right. Yes.
I liked the following. It was not a great show. It was fun. It was kind of schlocky. I was into it. And I think you can get away with there being 2 seasons. I think that's fine. I think the whole idea of Joe Carroll escaping, you end season 1 a bit of a cliffhanger. Fine. I can do 2 seasons. You have the aristocrat bitch is kind of a fun way to revitalize, and just a bitch with a bunch of resources and her weird psychopathic sons. Okay, it's weird and uncomfortable, and I'm here for it. And she wants to re-enable Joe Carroll to kill people because she finds him fascinating and an art specimen. All right, I can fuck with this, but it needs to end on that season.
Mm-hmm.
The aristocrat bitch dies. One of her sons dies. The strong son of the two, because they're a pair of twins. And Joe's right-hand bitch dies, Emma, pretty sure. And so I'm Joe gets arrested. Why is the show still going? Just be done. Just have it end with the weird entanglement between Joe Carroll and I forget the name of Kevin Bacon's character. Just have that end. Have that be the nudge to Kevin Bacon, he gets to write another book and be famous again, and he gets to, like, maybe cleans himself up and stops fucking day drinking like a lunatic. You know, you can have Joe Carroll's wife finally get some peace and just go be alone with her son and try to live normally and all this shit. It's like, you can just end. Just stop. Just quit. My cats are now having a staring contest with a cat. Sorry, there's a cat who walks out like behind my apartment. And
okay, I was like, the way you said that, I was like, that doesn't sound like that's how words work.
And well, they finally like looked at each other, and so now they're just kind of staring. Interesting. So yeah, just sorry.
Anyways,
sorry about that. Yeah, so just have it end. Like, you don't need to go 3 seasons. You don't have to do more. You don't have to introduce weird drama shit with Joe being in prison and Kevin Bacon feeling guilty about it. It's nonsense. Like, the romp is over. Let it be over. Stop.
Yeah, it's good stories end.
Yeah, it needed to end. It was out of steam. We're done. Go.
Yeah, it's like the most important thing about a story is having an ending. Know where your ending is.
Yep. All good things must come to an end.
Yep.
Soap operas are not good. I stand on that statement.
What are not good?
Soap operas are not good. Listen, the fucking, was it Young and the Restless, or whatever the fuck it's called?
Sure.
Yeah, nah, it's been running for like 35 seasons. No, incorrect. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, what are not good? I'm
soap opera, like daytime soap operas that run forever.
I heard something so different. I was just rolling with it.
What did you hear?
I heard poppers aren't good. I was like, all right, I don't know where that's coming from, bro. But
it's a weird, it's a weird thing, weird slant of the gay community, I guess.
I was like, all right, somebody had a weird sexual experience and they're just venting. Let it happen. You started talking about the Restless. I was like, what? Oh.
No.
Oh,
soap operas.
Okay. So, my last entry on this, if you've been a fan for a while, you know I hate the movie Limitless.
Oh boy, boy howdy.
It's not because it's not inventive, not because Bradley Cooper doesn't act in it well, or not that it's novel. It's that its implementation and ending just kind of recommends drug use if you're smart enough. It feels like it was written by fucking Freud explaining why it was fine for him to do cocaine. Like, it's just terrible. And also uncathartic. Like, the story up until that point is weird, and I kind of fuck with it. You have this drug, the come down's horrible. However, it does make you superhuman. It's cocaine. Like, it's just the fucking drug is coke. If it's not a stand-in for that intentionally, it is accidentally. It's just cocaine or some, Adderall max dose to the power of 9, fucking that kind of shit. And finally, at the end, he's gone through. He beats these like goons who come in high on the drug through his own ingenuity and is able to like survive. Awesome. Then at the end, his old boss has figured him out. Robert De Niro is like, "Hey, I got you. I have this. It turns out money, true, like in for Batman, money is the greatest superpower." He's like, "I'm smart and I have money, so I bought all of this drug and you have no access to it. So you have to do what I tell you." And he's at this crossroads, and it's fucking awesome because he has decided to be a moral good in the world, but now he's got this evil force that is holding this thing over his head that, I mean, the way they kind of set it up, you kind of need it to live. Not only like function, but like without it, with the withdrawals can be like deadly or debilitating.
Yeah.
And instead of being like if my fix for this movie, because the following scene is he goes, actually, I've been with messing around with it, and I figured out how to get clean off this stuff, but still have the after effects of doing it, which is fucking dumb.
Agreed.
Like, the whole point of writing, like, the reason that Superman has kryptonite is to balance out a superpower. I don't think it does it well because of how unaffordable that shit is.
Yeah.
But it's a balancing act. You need, for the power, you need a detriment. Otherwise, you don't have stakes. Without stakes, you don't have story. Because watching somebody go around like Captain Planet and just fuck up everything and have no way to be beaten is dumb. Watch the fucking College Humor skit to know what I mean when I say tree, 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 tree.
I have no context for that.
Sick. I get to show you that after we're done. I will link that in the thing if I can find it. It is one of my favorite fucking things that College Humor did years ago. So, to have that taken away is to make that scene moot, and the whole entire, like, it has no teeth. Yeah. It is now a dog that lost its dentures. It's just gumming you and doesn't fucking matter.
Dog lost its dentures.
So, to fix this, we really just need to do one thing. And sadly, it's kind of like my first entry. If you just stop the story 5 minutes sooner, where it's like, I got you, bitch, and have him sit there and be like, fuck, I've been outplayed. I don't have an angle that I can think of, even with my like super coke brain.
Yeah.
And have him just be like, you have the end of the day to reply or whatever like that. And hell, because I think he's like, you have to support this thing that I want to go through, because he's like running for office for Senate or some shit.
Yeah.
Cool. Have him go up on the podium and just end at the crossroads of, do I say my speech or do I say his speech? Something. But to have it roll out like that is just so disrespectful to story writing in general that it just makes me want to vomit.
All right.
Bring it home, baby.
Strap in. I got some opinions.
Strap in. I got some poppers.
No. Okay. All right. Stranger Things. I, like most of the fucking world, I got fucking suckered into the zeitgeist that was Stranger Things when it came out. Holy shit. Season 1 was a banger. Shit was crazy. It was awesome. And I honestly, when it came out, fucking hastily devoured season 2. I was about it. I was dope. Season 2, I have 2 notes on. Like, Elle's side plot in Chicago is stupid, or like wherever she ends up going, is just really stupid. It doesn't really do much. You can argue it kind of teases that Dr. Brennan is alive, but not really. Yeah. The only other thing that like I don't like in that season is they just introduce a character to kill him with Sam, and there's no lingering consequences. If there was, I wouldn't mind it so much, but it's just kind of silly. Whatever. The problem is we get to season 3 and we've started to bloat.
Yep.
The Russian side plot is stupid. I get why it exists, but
I am Russian Guyovich.
Yeah. the way they go about introducing it is atrocious and nonsense if you have a brain. Because it makes zero sense in world. For like several reasons. Like, one, radio signals don't escape a fucking bunker that's 1,000 feet below the ground encased in concrete. That's just not how radio signals work. So there's that. But 2, it makes no sense for them to be broadcasting their own delivery schedule in a cryptic message. Why would they do that for themselves? Like, don't they just have a fucking clipboard with a timesheet? It would make so much more sense if Dustin discovered it with Steve, because Dustin was being a bored piece of shit and basically wanted to fucking play because his friends are all fucking off doing other things. And so he's just hanging out with Steve and they stumble into it at the mall. That would make more sense. Or if they at least provided like some interesting indication of like the mall's drawing way too much power, or they have some other piece of information found by Hopper or something to at least tease that. It makes no sense that they just stumble on a radio message. Stupid. The other thing that I didn't like about season 3 that I'm like, this needs help. They don't make Will a character. He's like an alarm system, which is really weird. Like, they could have taken so much good advantage of Will's character being able to detect the Lich and his presence. And they could have used him like a bloodhound to try and track the thing. Why not? Like, it seems a wasted opportunity. Stupid.
I have the answer right here.
Why?
Reasons.
Yeah, thank you.
It's the best I got.
Yeah, like it's just such a missed opportunity.
It feels like you just. It feels like you're just like giving this dissertation. It's making so much sense, and some fanboy was like, "Hey, shut up."
All right, and lastly, all right, we have the end. We need to close the rift that's being propped open by the Russians. Okay. Hopper should die. He should turn into a thing of ionized plasma.
He must die.
He must die. He should turn into a thing of ionized plasma like everybody else in the fucking room. So let's go with the assumption you want him to live because you love the actor. Dave Harbour, because we love Dave Harbour. We want to keep him on the show. The way you keep him alive is he runs into the Upside Down. He just fucking yeets his body into the abyss.
Turns the camera. You know, in high school, I had a pretty good 200-yard dash time. Yo!
So, with that in account, I'm going to talk about season 4. Because, oh God.
Oh, microphone.
At this point, I watched it without the enthusiasm, and I watched to the end a bit out of spite. There was some intrigue. It has some cool things. And
Were you perhaps running up that hill? It's the best part of season 4 by a lot.
That's pretty. It is honestly pretty dope. All right. So first off, I'm gonna say we jump him into the Upside Down so we can scrap the entire Russian plot. You don't need it. No one cares. It's so stupid. It kind of works in season 3 because it explains why the Lich can exist in our world still. Fine. You don't need it in season 4. You don't need the prison. You don't need the pilot fucking sequencing. You don't need a way to reintroduce the professor. You don't need any of this. None of it. It makes no sense. It serves no purpose other than to reintroduce fucking Hopper and to give Joyce something to do. It's stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Instead, we could have this grizzled, emaciated Hopper trying to fucking survive on the Upside Down and like ripping apart leaves and mice and shit with his fucking bare hands and teeth like a goddamn savage.
I still want him to become cannibalistic.
Yeah, just have him find what was the girl's name?
Oh fuck! It's some sad sack name. Hold on.
It's not Martha.
He finds Martha.
Shit.
Well, I'm looking it up.
Thank you.
Fuck.
Beverly?
No. Barbara. He finds what's left of Barb and
just like eating her thigh.
Yeah, just eat a little Barb.
Just have a little Barb. Those are desperate times. All right.
Throw it on the Barbie.
Yeah, and then you could literally have him meet back up with the kids when they're in the Upside Down. When they're like
with
stranded.
A taste for human flesh.
Like there's just that would be so much better. Second, don't create fucking friction between Jonathan and Nancy for just Steve to fucking saunter up and be like, yeah, bet you regret breaking up with my dumbass. Like, it's just there for the sake of being there. It's so fucking stupid. Like, it just doesn't make sense for Jonathan's character. Like, what has he done? He's fucking stood up for himself. He stood up for Nancy. He has fought literal monsters for Nancy. Distance, and he's suddenly afraid to talk about like not being good enough for a college application. Fuck off. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, if anything, I think he should try and make it work because Sam died, and so he like doesn't want his relationship to die. See some weird correlation. Whatever. Fine. Fuck you. What else we got here? Right.
Oh wait, there's more.
Oh, I'm not done. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm cooking. The whole shit with like the Hellfire Club, let the main nerd die, like let the main dude there die. You don't need to spend so much time on him. All you need him to do is effectively act as a vessel to introduce Vecna, introduce their trailer, and show where a portal is into the Upside Down, so they can run there and get stranded. Like, have him die to the fucking crazy zealous jocks. You can still have them say they all need to die and lean into the satanic panic, and it still provides the fucking conflict of interest for Lucas for who's friends, who does he want to help as friends. Okay, cool. We just saved ourselves some time, and we don't need the dumbest heroic sacrifice in history, which accomplishes absolutely nothing. Grown. And the other thing too, I'm getting out of order. Okay. Talking about the flashbacks. Why can Elle talk? Okay. Well, you see her when she's like a year after that and still at that establishment, like the fucking Department of Energy or whatever. Why couldn't she speak then? Okay, if we're going to do that, give a reason, like traumatic brain injury. They don't. Stupid. And the other thing too is it that would re-explain everything, like why she has trouble controlling her powers again. And then there's like the weirdest explanation of like she didn't kill Vecna, she pushed him into the Upside Down. No, she was trying to push him into a red mist. What do you fucking mean? If anything, he should have like escaped himself and like tried to slip out from under her power, and like he did that. He snuck himself into the Upside Down. It makes no sense for her to have forced him through. What? Stupid. Like, that's just such a nonsense explanation. Have her have like a TBI afterward. Have Brenna Nurse like show her discombobulated and shit. So that explains why she is the way she is in season 1. Fine. And last thing I'll fucking say here. The bit with Max, where Max is like gonna die, and then Elle just goes, no. She's suddenly Jesus?
El Jesus,
and this can be so avoided because she is without power at the start of season 4. You know what Joyce might fucking teach her? Something like CPR, to be like, you don't have to, like, here's something you can do even without powers. Here's ways you can help people even without this. Have it be a bonding moment for them, and then that would create precedent so she would know how to actually resuscitate someone, other than just going sheer force of will and just preventing death. Like, there's just no pretense for that, other than she's suddenly the Messiah. It's just stupid. Like, and it would also just be something that Vecna wouldn't consider, because his power is only destructive versus being used to help people. It would create a place where he wouldn't think about it and just would have assumed he won. Totally missed opportunity.
And to sum it up while we catch our breath, here's our ad break. So see you in a little bit. And this is why we are smarter than all these other fucking idiots making shit. Obviously. So easy. We could have done it.
So easy.
See y'all in a bit.
Do you wish that you could engage in reckless acts of wanton violence? Do you wish that you had the confidence and constitution of a Navy SEAL? Do you wish that criminal liability was wildly subjective? If those ring true, action movies might just be for you. With plenty of morally questionable motives and plots that sacrifice substance for style and explosions, action movies appeal to those basal urges that make us want to make things go boom. So what are you waiting for, killer? The day isn't going to save itself.
Oh, hey! You're back! Survived that ad break admirably.
Too much.
The fuck was that? Sounds like somebody stepped on Grandpa.
I was trying to give like the British like, oh, and they just like didn't.
You went up the escalator and didn't come back down. So before we confuse, bewilder, and lose our audience, what show do you have to recommend?
As I alluded to earlier, I started watching a show with Other Eli called Silo. Shit slaps. It's a cool, kind of dark, mysterious, like I guess like it is like at its core a mystery, like and it's really well done. It's a little bit slow, but I don't care. I love the world building and the environment they set, and the setting is really cool. They are not afraid to kill characters, which is great. It gives like a good feeling of suspense for people because it's like I may not make it.
The way you described it to me, it kind of sounded like a blend of like Fallout meets Game of Thrones a little.
Fallout, yes. I don't know if I'd say Game of Thrones. I'm trying to think of like another good. It's like a very dark noir Fallout. Because yeah, it's entirely insular, which is really cool. And it takes advantage of the fact that the setting is entirely insular. It's all within the silo, which is like this big 144 floor bunker, essentially. It's super cool. Like I think if you watched the first episode, if you're not like at least interested or engaged, probably get off. Like I was pretty hooked after episode 1. It does a cool job like teasing. It's going places I kind of wasn't expecting it to go. I'm really interested to see how it develops. I was worried when I saw a trailer that it like showed too much. It did not. So I'm here for it. What about you? What's up?
So after last recording where I talked about Ugly Americans, I was reminded of another sleeper hit that really didn't get as long as I would have liked it to have had, which is Man Seeking Woman. It's a Jay Baruchel show that played with the idea of dating as a single man, as we both sort of are at this point. And all of the aspects are kind of, they realize the metaphor. So, like, if you broke up with somebody and they started dating somebody new that you hated, they're like, ugh, it's like they're dating Hitler. Well, in this case, her ex starts dating actual Hitler. And, like, it just play, you know, he gets set up on a date with by his sister from somebody at work who, instead of being like, woof, she's hard to look at, she's like a goblin. She's an actual goblin. And like she falls out of a dumpster and is eating garbage. And so it plays with that kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of comparison and metaphor that we like to throw around when talking about dating circumstance, and just actualizes it. And it's fucking hilarious. Only had like 2 or 3 seasons. Is really amazing. This is before Jay Baruchel did like How to Train Your Dragon and kind of had his glow up moment. So I would really recommend checking this out, especially if you're in our shoes or remember those moments and kind of want to see how funny it is, you know, having that artistic license. You been listening to anything this week?
I did have a song come up in my playlist that I've kind of forgotten about, called The Remedy by Kodeko and Nev, Nevve.
It's not, when you said The Remedy, I was like, wait, does he mean like
No, that's by Seether.
I know. So I was like, wow, congratulations, you had that one come up. That sucks.
I actually don't mind that song. Damn.
I don't hate it. I have it. It's literally saved on my Spotify, but it's not one that I look up and go, I'm with the times. So we should know about this. I'm like, man, that's sad.
No, it's like it's a decent workout song. It's got a little oomph to it. I give it a listen. It's not too long. You'll know in about a minute whether you like it or not.
Love that. Well, I too have a song to recommend. Whoa! I found out when my roommate was driving me home from the airport because we both got there was like basically only one flight that was coming back from Portland, and so like 40 Magic players were on it, which was hilarious.
Awesome.
And one of them was my roommate, so instead of having to take the train or getting to take the train, he gave us a ride, which was sweet. And he put on a Spotify, and the first song that came out was Navigating by 21 Pilots, which didn't know they came out with a new album. And as a big fan, I was very excited to listen to it. So gave it a listen, and it's pretty good. Navigating is a great little bop. If you're a 21 Pilots fan, definitely check it out. And to close out our episode today, my Broskinkowski, what are we quipping off about?
A Tarantino classic, Pulp Fiction.
All right. 2 minutes going on the timer. Ready, set, and give us what you got.
Does he look like a bitch?
Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say one more goddamn time.
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
Royale with cheese.
He hit it into one place that he could. His ass.
I'm American, honey. Our names don't mean shit.
Bitch be cool.
Tell that bitch be cool.
You're half an hour away. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
You read the Bible?
How about Jimmy? How about you, Jimmy? You an oak man?
Yeah, if I'm curt with you, it's because time is a factor. I think fast, I talk fast, and I need you guys to act fast if you want to get out of this. So, please, pretty please, with sugar on top, clean the fucking car.
Why am I back you cleaning up the brain?
If my answers frighten you, then you should cease asking scary questions.
This is a tasty burger.
Would you give a guy a foot massage?
Might I have a drink of your tasty beverage to quench my thirst?
I gotta pee. I want to go home.
I'm sorry, did I break your concentration? Oh, you were finished.
You just ordered a $5 shake? That's a shake. That's milk and ice cream. You don't put bourbon in it or nothing? Huh? Just checking.
Just because you are a character does not mean you have character.
Yeah, we cool. 2 things. Don't tell anybody about this. The shit is between me, you, and Mr. Soon-to-be living the rest of his short-ass life in agonizing pain rapist here. It ain't nobody else's business. 2, you leave town tonight, right now, and when you're gone, you stay gone, or you be gone.
I'm gonna get a couple of piping gangsters up in here with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. You hear me, you hillbilly rapist piece of shit? I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
Zed's dead, baby.
That's good thing says my next one too. What did she say in the driver? I'll tell the truth. Like 12 2 lightly toasted Mexicans or something. Oh my god, Tat, why?
Well, before The pussy pursues Eli's thighs any further. That's our episode. So thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to
like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
But don't forget, new episodes of Super Pros Bros come out the first and third Saturday of every month.
Bye.